Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we will be covering about OAuth 2 as a policy which is being provided by MuleSoft. So using MuleSoft as a OAuth 2 provider, we will be implementing this policy at the API manager level, and it will be implemented on top of one of our already deployed app. And we will see, like, apart from vendor specific like Okta or Zero or different other vendors, how we can use the inbuilt offering from MuleSoft in order to provide a OAuth provider. So without any further ado, let's jump to the Anypoint Studio and create a OAuth 2 provider. So this is 7.6.0 version of Anypoint Studio. I'm just opening the workspace. It will take a couple of seconds to load. Yeah, it's up and running. So this is the cricket team app which is already being deployed into the Anypoint platform. So let me open the Anypoint platform. So if I go to the runtime manager, I should be able to see this cricket app which is in the started state. And if we copy this thing and open up one of my on this particular URL, I will just copy paste this one and open up a new instance, and let's see if we are getting any response back. So we are getting a pre-generated or pre-configured response when we are trying to hit this particular application deployed on Cloud Hub. Now we are going to put a policy on top of it, which will be configured from Anypoint Studio. So I will right click and look out for a new project, new Mule project, and I will name it as Mule OAuth Provider, and click on finish. 430 is the Mule runtime which I am going to use. This will be divided into the two parts. First of all, we will be creating a client, and secondly, we will be retrieving the token out of it. So in order to trigger the flow, we need HTTP listener. I will set the connector configuration to the default setting, that is at 8081, and the path would be like client creation. Okay, it's get method, and in order to add the OAuth provider, we need to add the module. It is not coming up as a default. So OAuth you have to search, and the provider module you have to just add it. Click on finish. So if you click on OAuth 2 provider, you can see four different options like create client. You can delete the client, you can revoke the token, and you can validate the token. So we will be using the create client option. Now in order to set it up, we need to give the module configuration. So you have to click on plus sign, and it will open up this particular window, and it will start looking for some of the object store information. So first of all, we need to configure this client store. So client store will be the basically a store that allows retrieving client information like the secret. If no client store is provided, default in-memory object store is configured. So instead of that, I will be using a persistent mode of object store. So let me do one thing. Let me add object store as well, which is not available in my workspace for now, but I will add it. And now I will configure this create client. I will click on this plus sign, and for the client store I will click on this plus, and I will name this as just put a client in front of it. That should be enough, and I have marked it as a persistent. I will click on OK. Now instead of authorization code, so see the comma separated we can give if now specified, then authorization grant type, code grant type will be supported. So instead of this I will use the client credentials, and scope default, it will remain by default. You can change it as well, but it can work with default setting as well. Now we have to change the token path. So the path will be slash token, and you have to add the token store. Just click on that and put a token in front of it. It will be a persistent object store. Just click on OK. So this is pretty much of it which we need to essentially make these particular configurations. I will click on OK. Over client ID we need to specify the client ID which will be sent through the attributes.header. So what I will do, attributes.headers.client_ID, make a copy of it because I will be writing it multiple times, and type will be confidential. For secret you need to specify the same, but the name will be secret, right? Similarly for client, it will be the name. It's just a dummy, you can hard code this as well. This will remain like this only. Principal can also stay as blank. For redirect a URI, it expects a input in array format. So what I will do, I will put something like google.com maybe, and within the authorization grant type again it expects in array. So I will type client credentials, scope it will be blank again. I will select fail if present. I will save this project, and since there is no advance, so we will not be getting any payload out of it. So logically it will be good if we have a set payload by the end of this create client, and we will just say client created successfully. Nothing fancy, just a notification, and the same thing we are going to print within the logger as well. So I will just say payload. I will save it. Now this is the create client flow, so I will rename this flow as create client. Now I will quickly create the second path as well, that is starting from the trigger, and I will name it as to validate token. Okay, and again I will go to OAuth Provider and will select validate token. I will quickly configure this thing. It will remain same here only because whenever we pass the head authorization under the headers, it comes by bearer. Let me write it. It comes something like bearer, then some token will be there. Basically token will be there. So we want to pick up only this particular thing, so that's why split by if there is a space, and after that pick up this one. So this is the logic which is being used over here. So this is the only configuration required. I will just put a logger in the end, and I will say validated token. That's it. I will save the project and let's try to run it. So this is the minimum setting which we require to set it up. I will quickly jump to my Postman and will set up something like HTTP. In place of publish, it's client creation. Let me quickly check if this is the same which I have given over here. Yes, it's the same. and under header I need to pass client ID and the client secret and the client name. I will quickly pass some dummy values like QWERTY 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 QWERTY, and for the secret dummy values, okay, and client name can be anything. So let's try to hit it and see if it goes well or not. So it says some error is coming up, so I need to check this. I will go back to the console and let's see where exactly is the error. It is coming under the create client, so somewhere here itself it is giving me error. So what I will do, I will remove these things. Probably it is coming because of this. Again, it is expecting in array format, I guess. It will reboot the application once again. Let's wait for a couple of seconds. So now it started. I will clear up the console, go back to the Postman again, quickly hit the send button. So client created successfully. This time it's okay. Now what I will do, I will create the token. So it will be basically HTTP token, and this is the client ID and the client secret I need to check from here. So let's first copy paste the client ID. So this is the client ID, and for the client secret again I will copy paste this and client credential I will go with that only, and I will click on send button. So it says method is not allowed, so because it expects the post. I will click on send again. So here you can see the slash token is being generated. You will be wondering like why this slash token is being working, although we have not set it up. But if you remember, within the create client under this OAuth provider config, we have given this token URL as slash token. So from here it is taking the token object store. Okay, so I will go back to Postman, and this is the SS token which is being created. Now I'm going to validate this token. So what I will do, validate token, and within the headers I will go for authorization. It will be a bearer space this one, and let's see if it works fine or not. So it works fine with a default seconds after which it will be expired, and this is the client ID. So till this point we have identified like how we can create a OAuth provider within the MuleSoft. So after this we just need to deploy this in the Cloud Hub, and after that we will set it up. So I will close this project and we'll jump to Anypoint Platform under the Runtime Manager. I have already exported this particular application just to save the time, and I will choose this file as upload file, and will look out for mule2.jar. I will click on open. I will name something it like Mule OAuth to provider -app. So this is fine. I will click on deploy application. So now it is uploaded successfully and it is deploying. So I will go back to the application page, and we'll click here and copy paste this particular app URL, and we'll check for logs as well. It will take a couple of seconds to load, and after that I will check whether it is working fine or not. I'm just basically looking for the collection which I have already created. So this is the create client. I need to replace this path, and I will wait for this application to get up first. I will change the path accordingly. So I'm just putting the path of this deployed version of OAuth. It is still working. I will click on save, and save this guy as well. So application is started. So let's go to the basics, and I will first create a client. Mhm. Let's quickly check. Uh, there's some gateway timeout I'm getting. I will click it again. So client is now created. I will take these value will remain the same, and I will click on send again. So this is the new token which is being generated. I will copy paste this for reference, and within the authorization I am going to change it gradually, okay, but not now. I need to adjust it something, and from the end as well I need to clean it up. You need to be very particular about this, you know. Basically I will go back and I will copy paste again. I will tell you like why exactly this is important. um, Let this guy bearer space control V, that should be fine, but I am not going to click the send button because I need to first configure the policy. I will quickly jump to the API manager, go to the API manager, search for the cricket app within the API manager, and go for the policy, apply new policy, search for OAuth 2.0 SS token enforcement using Mule OAuth Provider, click on configure policy. Here you need to provide the endpoint URL. The endpoint URL will be something like the validate token one. So I will copy paste this guy, but instead of localhost, I will put something this starting path slash. I just hope it is good, right? Yeah, it is good. I will expose the headers. I will skip the client ID validation. You can select any of these options depending on your use, but I will go with the default. I will click on apply quickly, and it will take a couple of seconds to apply this policy onto the application level. So let's see the validate. Well, I need to copy paste this. Control C, go over here, copy paste this correctly, and click on send button. So it is working fine. Now this is our cricket app, and similarly we need to change the authorization for this particular header. Let's give it a try. it's working fine. Let's temper this thing, put 1 in the end. So here you can see it is not valid. So if I remove this and keep it as original, it works fine. So with this particular test case, I have tried to demonstrate how we can use an inbuilt Mule OAuth 2 provider as a and how we can configure the policy using that. I hope you like this video, and thanks for watching. Thank you.